just in the middle. So my name is Shelley Bow. I'm a rapid transformation therapist. I'm also certified as a nutraceutical consultant and a product specialist. I've spent 25 years in the world of health and wellness, holistic health. I've got a background in psychology and working to support people with developmental disabilities. I absolutely love human behavior. And I think the people that are on with us tonight and some of our wonderful panelists feel the same way. It's just amazing to really learn about humans and what makes us tick. Tonight, however, we're going to walk into a really important topic. And this topic, probably of all of the series that we've covered so far in our 9-month health and nutrition series, this probably is the most important topic because it's like laying the foundation for your home. It sets the stage for the rest of your life. And the topic tonight is digestive health because all health starts in the gut. So let's talk about a little bit behind the scenes. What we do as holistic practitioners is we make sure that we're serving people to the best of our ability, to the capacity that we are, but we do not intend to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any of your diseases. So if you have questions on disease states, this would not be the platform where we are allowed to answer that. So we want to make sure we're compliant with that. Go ahead and ask about certain symptoms you might be experiencing, because I think between myself and the panelists, we can support you in that. My guess is as we cover this information tonight, most of your questions will probably be answered. So let's start out by talking about us a little bit. Many of you hear certain things and you feel like, oh, I hear it all the time. Processed food, sugar. I know, I know. But do you know and have you made a decision on what you know? It's one thing to know, but it's empowering to act on what we know. So we really do have to come to a place in our life where we realize the most important investment in our life is in our health. Eating the right foods, because a lot of times we're seeing there's an overabundance of non-beneficial bacteria. We're not drinking enough fluids. We're not getting enough electrolytes to have balance in fluids in our tissue and our organs. And we don't have the right alkalinity acid balance in our stomach. Our gut has barriers. Oftentimes I say there are no fences, throughout the lymphatic system, but there are actually God-given fences in our gut system. There are physical barriers and there are deep functional barriers. And those deep functional barriers, guys, are looking to discriminate between our good and bad microflora so it can help maintain a good, healthy intestinal ecosystem. I don't know how much everyone listening tonight knows about your specific microbiome, but Kim, myself, the Elliots, D, we all have our own symbiotic relationship with our microbiome. Kim and I cannot switch our microbiome systems. It would not work. You have a symbiotic relationship with the one that you've been given. So it would be important to invest in that gut health system. Now, the reason we talk about gut health so much and you see it blasted all over social media is because truly gut health, guys, relates to almost everything else in your body, your energy, your mood, your weight, your skin, your joints, your mental acuity, and your respiratory function, believe it or not. So when we look at the little microvilli in your body, and when we look at that cheese cloth like material that's in your gut system, it really is there to work as a barrier to only allow the right things to go through. But what happens is over time, when we're eating the wrong foods and not having good microbiome and good balance, it gets stretched out and all of a sudden things start to leak through. And that's when you have things that are floating around in your blood that are going to cause the body to intensely inflame. And that is how it can affect every other body, every other organ in the body, and affect the immune system so intensely. See, your immune system, guys, really is mostly laden in your gut. 70% of what's going to fight against these bacteria, these viruses that are floating around right now, 70% of your immune system lies in your gut. Your intestine is coated with not millions, billions of microorganisms and cells. And this is working to balance out and provide the body with a really good filter. It decides what gets in and what doesn't. So through this filter, you're looking at good nutrients coming in, good fluids coming in, but barriers to keep the unwanted toxins, chemicals, and wastes out. This system is so important for the process of elimination. And women, if you don't know this yet, you will start to hear it more and more often, especially as we start to age and we approach menopause. There is nothing more important during those years than the process of detoxification, keeping the liver and the colon and the body cleansed. Proper elimination 2 to 3 times a day. We should be passing stool, right? And it should be a nice consistency. So, how do we actually support our digestive health with lifestyle and with diet? Number one, we need to eat prebiotic foods. I know so many people talk about probiotics, but how about the prebiotics, the things that actually feed your probiotics? Most of you actually believe the myth that when you eat your food, you're actually feeding your body. You think your food is feeding you, right? That's a myth. Your food isn't feeding you. Your food is actually converting and it's feeding your bacteria, your gut bugs. So it comes in, it gets converted, broken down. That now feeds your gut bugs, and your gut bugs then decide how to balance out the good bacteria and give you a nice, healthy microbiome. So we want to have a diet that's rich in soluble fiber, fermented foods, lots of fluids coming through, making sure, guys, you're not eating out of boxes and cans so that you're constantly putting in those refined, disgusting processed foods because the body doesn't even know what that is. Take a look at your stress. How are you handling your stress? And what are you doing to get a good, restful 4 90-minute sleep cycles per night? 4 90-minute sleep cycles per night. So the body can actually detoxify, rejuvenate, and refresh itself to wake up the next day ready for the next day. We talked about eating fermented foods. Fermented foods are really good for our gut health because they're going to feed and nourish those good bacteria. So I know a lot of people that actually enjoy things like kombucha and sauerkraut and kefir and plain yogurt, miso, kimchi. In fact, I'll bet you, Kim, you like some of these foods. There's a lot of people that do. But then there's a lot of people that don't. And they're not going to eat these type of foods. So they have to find a way to supplement to bring this type of thing in to be able to feed the body what it needs. So we've got prebiotics, we've got probiotics, and we've got postbiotics. So prebiotics provide the necessary food source to feed those gut bugs so that your gut can thrive. It's going to support growth and activity so you get that beneficial bacteria. Prebiotics feed probiotics. Prebiotics feed probiotics. The probiotics help to maintain your microbiome, especially in situations where the natural balance is possibly disrupted. Maybe you've had a course of antibiotics, you've been ill, you're undergoing a lot of stress, or you've had your guts taken out and packed back in. Postbiotics is something new to a lot of us. Guys, I really was not familiar with postbiotics until about a couple of years ago when I really understood the importance of the short chain fatty acids. These are what actually contribute to that gut barrier function. And I have been using a supplement to support postbiotics, which supports ATP production energy, but I'm noticing profound effects in my life, and I'll share those when I get to it so that you can relate it to the supplement that's been working for me. So if you're somebody that notices you often get bloating or you just feel like, oh, like bloating and flatulence and pain and, just uncomfortable when you eat or eat certain foods, or you're sensitive to those certain foods, that honestly could be something that could be resolved if you were supporting those postbiotics. So combining the prebiotics, the probiotics, and the postbiotics, all three, is the way we're going to support our beneficial bacteria, guys. We're going to introduce those live microorganisms and we're going to provide the necessary byproducts. So probiotics chew up things and spit out postbiotics. Prebiotics feed probiotics. Probiotics eat, spit out. And that's where our postbiotics come. Now, you might think, oh, gross, byproduct. That must be disgusting. No, absolutely not. That's actually to be uptaken back in and give your body its energy back and release the pain and the flatulence and the bloating so many people are struggling with. So prebiotic foods, there is actually a good list of foods. And I think a lot of you, again, love these things. Chicory root, onion, tomatoes, raw garlic, Jerusalem artichoke, leeks, asparagus, and jicama. These are all great foods to keep throughout your regular diet, because when you bring in natural prebiotics, they will feed your probiotics. Those probiotics will eat, spit out, and those postbiotics are going to be uptaken and support the energy and reduce the pain and inflammation in the body. Fiber intake in the US is definitely below average. The average person intakes about 10 to 15 grams. The USDA recommends 25 grams a day. The daily value on your food labels is 28 grams, and that is based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So we're going to just stick with the number 25 grams a day. And if all of us did 25 grams a day in wonderful fibers and having the combination of soluble and insoluble, I would call it a win for all of us, right? So current estimates of dietary fiber are much too low. So prebiotic is indigestible fiber. It feeds your bacteria. It's going to promote the probiotic growth. Functional fiber is an isolated, a non-digestible carbohydrate. And this is also important. We need both, guys. We need both. And that's what I'm trying to stress here. There are good beneficial physiological effects that humans will experience from those isolated, non-digestible fibers. Fiber is critical for good health. And I'll tell you guys, if you want a good testimony on our fiber, talk to Ernest Pikett and family, because it is actually what led Ernest into the world of health and wellness. Doctor said, Ernest, you have got to get more fiber into your body. But I don't just want some gross, over the counter fiber. I want a good fiber that really cleanses the colon, promotes colon health, balances out the bacteria in the body so that you have good, healthy bowel movements, healthy levels of microflora, healthy gut bugs, healthy nutrient absorption, good elimination 2 to 3 times a day, and giving your body the fuel for cells that are lining the intestine. This is a supplement called NutriClean Advanced Fiber Powder. This powder is not just some run-of-the-mill powder. It has 10 grams of fiber, some soluble, some insoluble. This fiber actually benefits the ability to maintain healthy level of cholesterol, triglycerides, glucose, intestinal regularity, and a healthy intestinal microflora. 1,000 milligrams of L-glutamine in anybody that's ever had pain and flatulence and bloating upon eating knows when I talk about L-glutamine, it is going to fuel naturally that digestive system to get things moving through. I'll give you guys a little tip. You take a little bit of this powder, put it between your cheek and gum on those days where you're having the sugar cravings. That 1,000 milligrams of L-glutamine will actually reduce your sugar cravings. Amazing amino acid. And this particular product alone has 1.5 billion colony-forming units of probiotics. This advanced fiber powder not only contains excellent ingredients, it is top-notch, high-quality. Check 3 times for quality assurance. Drink lots of water with it. Eat nice, fresh vegetables. Eliminate those processed foods and sugar. Eliminate the foods that are naturally causing your stomach to be upset. And move your mass, right, Dee McNamara? Dee is working in the world of Go Trim, helping people become lean and slim. Moving your mass, keeping good, healthy exercise, right? Because a healthy gut is going to lead to healthy weight. When the gut is healthy, every other system in the body becomes more regulated and ultimately a lot happier. Now, the probiotics that I have chosen to recommend to my clients is called Probiotics 10. If anything I talk about tonight is interesting to you, ask the person who invited you to send you a link to get more information on these particular ones. I only pick the best of the best. Every time I recommend a product, it's something that has clinical evidence, double-blind studies, and it has the science to back it. I love this particular probiotic because so many other probiotics on the market, they're just eaten up in the stomach acid. They never get to the source. They're not moving through and being time released in your intestinal tract, upper to lower GI. This particular one is. We've chosen 10 scientifically proven probiotic strains. But what's interesting about this particular product and why I love it, doesn't need to be refrigerated. This product has life back in it. This is technology that supports it to remain in a dormant state. And the BioTrack allows it to not be eaten up by stomach acid, but rather to be released, time released throughout the intestinal area, upper to lower GI. You're actually getting benefit. It's not just being eaten up by your stomach acid. Guys, if you're buying a run of the mill over the counter, or you think it's super cool because you pulled it out of a refrigerator, I'm going to tell you there is no regulation on that. We do not know that those bugs are even alive when they hit your guts. We don't know that they get even to the upper GI. They could possibly be eaten up by your stomach acid. So when I recommend a product, I recommend it because I know it's going to work and you're going to get results. And that's what it's really about. So Probiotics 10 is going to help manage your fat stores, weight loss efforts, cholesterol. It's going to support the body in adapting to stress. Think about good, healthy teeth. Think about all the people you know that struggle with yeast infections, urinary tract infections. Their body are actually becoming resistant to the yeast. We want to support the body in having a normal resistant to yeast. Supports healthy skin. Think about people that have issues with acne, rosacea. Oftentimes, you can trace that right back to the gut. Unhealthy gut, unhealthy skin. You're going to notice that your gastrointestinal tract feels so much healthier. It's detoxifying and eliminating very comfortably, moving at the pace that it naturally should. For those of you that notice, sometimes it's just the bacteria in your vaginal flora gets off, the pH gets off, and you'll notice women that you get sort of itchy or burny. That oftentimes can actually be supported by a simple probiotic that actually gets through the entire intestinal tract. So I recommend, especially all women, to be taking a good probiotic to support the natural pH and have good vaginal flora. You guys know that the gut is the second brain, right? That vagus nerve, I mean, messages are going back and forth, or they should be going back and forth, wonderfully communicating to one another, brain to gut, gut to brain, right? Do you guys realize that 95% of your serotonin is actually made in your gut? 95%. 95% of the neurotransmitter, the hormone that says, I got this. I'm chill, right? Even though Stephanie Core is about to leave on an amazing trip, heading to Iceland, I think it is, if I remember right. And she's right, Steph? Iceland. Yes? I think it's Iceland where Stephanie is headed. So, anyway, a healthy gut biome can enhance cognitive performance, managing stress levels, and helping support good metabolism. So, the goal is, guys, to feel that we're balanced. Hormones, neurotransmitters, right? Serotonin, 50% of your dopamine, 50% of the neurotransmitter that says, let's go, we've got this, people, right? That's your dopamine. People are always looking for that good, healthy level of dopamine because you feel good and you feel like accomplishing things when you have good dopamine in your body. Now, the vagus nerve is the most important function between the gut and brain. That vagus nerve runs and it's going to support all the other organs. It's going to be communicating to the body. Okay, here you go, gut. Here you go, liver. Heart, sending you some love today. Lungs, take some nice deep breaths, right? The vagus nerve is responsible for keeping those messages going: rest and digest, or fight, flight, or freeze. The vagus nerve is responsible for that communication. So would you all agree that if you have healthy communication between your brain and your gut brain, chances are you're going to have much healthier organs? This is the supplement. I want you guys to write this down. It's called Prime Advanced Digestive Support. And if my very good friend Melissa Olson was on with me tonight, I can tell you that the two of us will both agree this is the supplement that most supports our body. I will say that as I talk about digestive enzymes, that's one I don't go a day without, but this is another one. And here's what it did for me. I was noticing that I would get like this lower GI pain. And it would just be like, oh my gosh. I mean, you'd think I was pregnant some days, right? It would just blow up like that. I started taking this supplement and I stopped it for a while to see if it was truly this supplement. And you bet it absolutely was. So let's find out why this one absolutely supports so much good gut health and metabolic and cognitive function. First of all, if you have a healthy gut brain axis and you're communicating well, you're going to eliminate some of those triggers. Sugar craving, stress, the sedentary lifestyle is feeding into unhealthy gut brain axis communication. So, how do we support it? Short chain fatty acids, good healthy sleep, and good natural holistic supplementation, and obviously bringing in the right fermented foods and prebiotic foods. Guys, those short chain fatty acids create a systematic approach to your metabolic energy. Metabolism is more than just, hey, I'm going to lose some weight. Metabolism is the energy throughout your body, guys. So that energy is going to help balance out blood glucose, lipid production, support your healthy immune system. Come on, guys. Every time I turn around right now, somebody is sick. I'm telling you, almost every place I walk in, every place I visit, somebody is sick. We have got to boost our immune system, which means we've got to get deep down into the foundation of health, and it truly is the gut. Short chain fatty acids give organ signals to maintain that good, strong gut barrier. Remember when I said that cheesecloth like material inside your body stretches and stretches and stretches. And pretty soon it's not a barrier anymore and stuff is leaking through. And you go and, okay, I guess I'll take a pill for this. Why? How about if we give the strength back and get that gut barrier strong with those short chain fatty acids, something called core biome. Core biome is a trademark term. It's going to support this. You're going to notice you're not foggy anymore. You have good cognitive health, and it's going to act as a really good source of energy. Remember, ATP production. Core biome is simply tributyrate. Core biome is the only butyrate that's backed by science because it is so unique in its ability to actually reach the colon and give it that postbiotic benefit. Something that the latest greatest science is, again, being clinically proven, substantiated to show us the importance of the postbiotic. Here we thought, feed the gut bugs, balance out probiotics. Probiotics eat, spit, spit, spit. And we just thought, and then there's the byproduct. That byproduct is actually a God-given substance that's going to support healthy colon. So the ingredients in core biome, you've got 1 gram of that tributyrate. It's derived from butyrate, short chain fatty acids. It's going to support your microbiome. Remember what I said in the beginning. You have a symbiotic relationship with your microbiome. I can't change out with Kim, Nancy, Stephanie, Dee. We can't switch out. That symbiotic relationship is between you and your gut. So love it well, give it lots of love. You want a good intestinal barrier. You want good permeability. And that's exactly what this supplement is for. Great for picky eaters, for sure. How many of you have been hearing about berberine, right? Berberine. And what people are doing is they're going out and just getting just berberine. Guys, nature never has a plant that only has one ingredient. Never. Plants have many phytonutrients working synergistically together. So people will get a hold of these buzzwords and they'll sell you like you wouldn't believe on their product. They're 1 ingredient product, but you're not getting nearly the benefit you would get if you took a synergistic, thoughtful, comprehensive blended product, a product that has everything blended together. This berberine is going to support healthy fat levels, healthy insulin levels. It's going to strengthen that gut barrier protection. It's going to support your natural gut bugs, giving you a better microbiome. And it's going to support GABA. You know what GABA is, guys? GABA is your neurotransmitter that is a marker for anxiety. So if you know somebody that's like ready to pounce all the time, right? That person needs to get a better support for GABA. This product may actually support that for them. So this is a really, really important supplement. It's newer in the supplement world. It's something that I highly recommend now to clients that have like lower GI, flatulence, bloating. It's very natural in its release. It's going to help with so many wonderful things. So prebiotics, feed your probiotics. Guys, again, we don't eat to feed our body. We eat to feed our probiotics. But those prebiotics coming in from our natural foods are what is going to be converted down to a level that the probiotics can eat it. And once they eat it, they spit out those postbiotics, and that gives you a complete biotic system. Now, when you look at these three products, they're all very important. They all serve a purpose. But I truly believe there's more to having good, healthy gut than just these three supplements. So I invited a very good friend of mine who has had life impacting results. She has an incredible testimony. She is a professional in every capacity. She is a all about spirit, life, health, and money coach. Please help me welcome to share her amazing testimony tonight, Kim Rayner.
Thank you, Shelley, for that great introduction. And, I really am honored to be able to share this part of my story with you. In 2007, I was diagnosed with stage 3C ovarian cancer. And if you know anything about ovarian cancer, when you go through the process of the treatment for that, there's multiple surgeries, abdominal surgeries, and then they literally the last one is what they call a debulking surgery, where they literally, okay, hello, buddy, where they literally, because no webinar is complete without a visit from my cat. Good Lord. So much for professional in every way. Um, so a debulking surgery is literally where they, put like an 18-inch incision in your belly, and then they take out your omentum and your uterus and your ovaries and fallopian tubes, and they take out your vagina and all of those things. And they take out your intestines. And when they take out your intestines, they look at every inch of your intestines to see if there's anything that's been impacted by the cancer. And when they find areas that have been impacted, they will snip those, and then they will sew those pieces of your intestines together, or you may end up with a colostomy bag. And then when they pack that stuff back in your body, I can promise you they do not fold it the way it was folded the first time. And when I met Shelley, who actually introduced me to the three products that we're going to talk about, I was homebound like 95% of the time because I bounced back and forth between bowel incontinence and constipation. And if you're 48 years old and that's what your life is looking like, you're not leaving your house because you're having bowel movements in your pants when you're out and about. So when I met her, we literally made a beeline across the room to each other. We were at a networking conversation, and it's like, oh, I need to know more about this lady. And we literally made a beeline to each other. And I shared with her open-heartedly about what was going on because I was looking for a real life solution. I had tried so many different things and could not get this in check. And she said, I have this gut health kit that I'm going to recommend to you. She said, it's got 3 different products. My house has not been without those 3 products since we started this. The first one is Probiotics 10. That's the product that Shelley was talking about. I absolutely love that. Gets your probiotics in order. The second product that she told me about was something that's called digestive enzymes. They come in a bottle, a 90-day or a 90 serving supply, but they also come in these handy dandy little travel packs that you can take with you. So I always have them in my purse. So if I end up going out to eat somewhere, I can take it after I eat. And what these digestive enzymes do, they literally break down the food because my guts weren't working right. They broke down the food into the micronutrients that my body needed in a way that they were actually able to absorb them. So those 2 things really helped with me processing my food. And then the last product that I'm going to talk about, now this is my testimony, and again, we don't treat, cure, or address any medical ailment, but I ended up with something that's called Barrett's esophagus. And for me, that included like acid boluses that would shoot up into my esophagus. And it literally felt like I was drinking battery acid and I could breathe fire. It was extremely painful. I couldn't swallow things like apples, potatoes, bread. And I was going for an upper and a lower GI where they were checking the digestive tract from both directions every year. And I started taking this third product, which is the Ultimate Aloe. I love the strawberry kiwi. That's my favorite flavor. I started taking that product and I was on the every year, and I had been on that for about 12 years by that point. And I started drinking that on a regular basis. And I noticed that those acid boluses and that heartburn was going away. And Barrett's esophagus is actually the precursor to esophageal cancer. So they pay a lot of attention to what's going on. They don't mess around with that. So, excuse me, when I went back to my doctor for my colonoscopy and my endoscopy the next year after I started taking this, he said, "Wow, I'm not sure what you're doing, but there hasn't been any change in your system. So whatever you're doing, you keep doing it, and you don't need to come back for 3 years." It's like, okay, awesome. I'm good with that. So I didn't go back for 3 years. That I continue to use these three products religiously. When I went back the next time, they did the upper and lower GI, and he said, "I really don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, don't stop because now we see no evidence of disease. And we are releasing you," and this brings me to tears, "we are releasing you from our care. You don't need to come back unless you have a problem swallowing bread, swallowing potatoes, swallowing apples or pears." So for me, from being homebound, not being able to leave my house because I was afraid that I was going to poop in my pants, from going from that place to being able to live a normal life and to be discharged from my doctor's care is huge. So I can't say enough about what these products have done for my life. And I talk to a lot of people who struggle with belly issues because it is common for those of us who have had cancer and who are,
Yeah.
who are under a lot of stress. I can't say enough about these products and what they've done for my life. So thank you for letting me share, Shelley. I so
Oh my
appreciate it.
gosh. Well, Kim, I'm everybody who's listening appreciates you. And you can find Kim at allaboutspirit.com, Kim Rayner. I mean, find her on Facebook, but make that connection. If you know somebody that might be struggling with these very issues, why wouldn't you, right? Want to connect with Kim on this? Because Kim, that is so life changing. I mean, it's beyond a life. I mean, and I don't think people can understand. Oftentimes people just think, oh, you're just trying to sell your stuff. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? My goodness, when you find clinically evidenced products or they'll go out and buy some cheap aloe. Ah, it didn't do anything for me. That's because you bought water with maybe a tablespoon of some cheap aloe. This is whole leaf, 150% inside, outside of the leaf, one of the top three in the world, which is why it works the way it does. But Kim, I truly believe that combination, if people would just look at that combination, it's such a healthy place to start. So
Can I
what
just
a
say
great
one
share.
other thing about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
When this happens for us, our bodies did not get into the shape that they're in a week. So expecting this to have a huge impact on you in a week might be a realistic expectation. It was probably 90 days. I mean, there were changes right away that I noticed, but it was probably 90 days before I hit that spot where I actually took the chance of taking a walk around my block so I wouldn't have to jump into the ditch and go to the bathroom, right?
Right.
So yeah, give yourself your body didn't get to the shape it's in 90 days, so don't expect it to be fixed in 90 days. Give it the chance
Right.
it needs to be able to do what it needs to do. So that's my
Really,
last thing.
really. So
Yeah.
good, Kim. And I really appreciate that so much because I do think that people, they're so used to just taking a pill. And like you said, you may notice results immediately. In fact, with that aloe juice, I have had clients who have just horrible acid reflux, and they cannot believe by drinking simple aloe. My husband is one of them. He used to have terrible acid reflux,
Mhm.
and he would wake up in the middle of the night, go drink his aloe. He's like, I can't believe this actually, just something so simple. But here's the other thing I would say about this aloe juice. Sometimes kids don't like to take their vitamins, right? I always tell parents, that strawberry kiwi aloe is delicious. It's loaded with over 200 phytonutrients, plant-based nutrients. You can't get more natural than that. What if they just drink aloe? What if they just drink aloe, right? And we've actually seen mood improvements when kids drink aloe because obviously the gut is balanced out, and when the gut's balanced out, mentally they feel more clear and their body is more balanced. So really, really good. And guys, you have to decide where the best place is for you to start. But sometimes it's as simple as just, okay, I think I'd like to start drinking some of that aloe juice. Fantastic. If you like that product, maybe then you'd add the probiotics. Maybe then you'd add the enzymes. Maybe you'd add the fiber powder. It really is about us meeting you where you're at and aligning with not only what you want, but what we know will get you results, and being very respectful of your budget as well. Because God knows, it's tough out there right now. And we want to make sure that we're helping you get results. And at the same time, making sure that we're very respectful of what it is you can afford. And I know that everybody who's on with me tonight, all of my panelists feel the same way. We will align with you and meet you where you're at. But this aloe juice works from lips to hips. Yep. Lips to hips. So I tell people, even with, some of the discomfort when people are passing stool, I'm being very careful and cautious not to bring up any disease state or, health condition, because I want to be, totally appropriate in what I'm saying. But again, if you have any discomfort when you are eliminating or passing stool, this can actually support, again, from lips to hips. If it's skin disorders, maybe you drink the aloe and then use our topical aloe as well. They both penetrate 7 layers of tissue. Kim talked about the digestive enzymes. Enzymes are instrumental in supporting the breakdown of proteins, fats, and carbs. Think about people who are so sensitive, right, Kim? They're so sensitive to certain foods. I'm one of those people, actually. And when we're sensitive to foods, it's like you almost immediately inflame in your guts when you eat certain foods, and it's very uncomfortable. These enzymes literally emulsify and liquefy whatever it is that's in there and supports it not only moving through. And people say, I don't know, that doesn't sound like it would be a healthy thing. Oh, it actually is a healthy thing, because now that the food is broken down to the where it's supposed to be, you're going to notice this diazyme is, again, a trademark ingredient in our specific digestive enzymes, because it's known to break down, be a powerful enzyme to break down both fat, protein, and those things that can cause inflammation, along with our carbohydrates. So people who might be sensitive to lactose, might be sensitive to certain vegetables, when this emulsifies, the natural microvilli in your intestines can pull the nutrients out of what's moving through, get them into the bloodstream where they're supposed to be, while allowing the rest to be eliminated. Perfect. And it's exactly what you're looking for. Drink those enzymes with any meal. If you feel like you're getting pain in between a meal, you can also drink them in between a meal. I always encourage people, start out strong, and your body will actually naturally find its way back to where it's more balanced, and you probably won't need as much. But just, hit it hard in the beginning. Lactospore, again, one of our trademark ingredients, clinically validated, producing microbial preparation for your Bacillus coagulans. Lactospore can actually withstand the acidic environment in the stomach, which is, again, what happens with most probiotics. And that's where the problem is they're being eaten up by stomach acid. But we actually have the probiotics in our enzymes that support good, healthy gut bugs and microflora. The primary benefits when you talk about enzymes, because there's a lot of you out there that already know there's great benefit to digestive enzymes. Many of you are taking them. Maybe it's just an upgrade for you. Maybe it's just taking something that has a little better quality, like this particular digestive enzyme. But it is going to support the immune system. It's going to support any occasional upset in your stomach. And I would say, when you're looking at clients that you might serve, look at people who just naturally don't have good dietary choices. Think about kids that are on the spectrum. Their palate is about this big, right? They'll eat like 3 foods. That is so unhealthy for the stomach. And it is unhealthy for us as adults as well, by the way. So guys, if you're eating just pizza and chicken nuggets, that is not going to be conducive to a healthy gut environment, right? So this might be a way to offset some of that. So we covered a lot of ground tonight. First, I want to say thank you for being here. It means the world to us. I'm recording this tonight. I will share it out shortly after we get done this evening. Please reach out to the person who invited you. Just ask them some questions. Maybe you thought of someone else. Maybe this topic wasn't true to you, but it's something that you think you could recommend somebody to listen to. I'd be happy to share this out with you. Anybody who is here with us, anybody who takes the time to listen, not only do you get a free gift from the person who invited you, they're also going to give you a special exclusive discount code to get 10% off anything we talked about. And that will go through Friday. Join us for our series, guys. We do this on the third Tuesday of the month, 7:30 Central. So we are in our fifth coming up in November topic, and that's going to be metabolic health and blood sugar diabetes. So that will be a really interesting one. And I think Kim Dodie Ash would be a fantastic person to share her testimony that night. And then we'll finish out our last two in 2025 with men's health and children's health. So join us next time. Invite a friend. Find all of the events on my personal Facebook page at Shelly Bow. I share those out. They're all there in advance. And share them with anybody, guys. It's good for people to get the information, but especially if you know somebody that might be really struggling with weight, metabolic function, energy, or they just truly feel like they can't get their blood sugar levels under control. Next topic would be maybe a good one for them. Kim Raynor, thank you so much for being here. It's always wonderful spending the time with you. And I want to say a special thanks also to all of my panelists for being on with us tonight, Kim and Nancy, Stephanie, and Dee McNamara. It's funny because we've got Arizona, Wisconsin, and Iowa in the house. And Holly, we're sending tons of love and big hugs to you. You're always there with us from Georgia. So we're grateful that you were able to spend the night with us as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.